this other girl, I met her and she forced me into weight training and I was like, ugh, this is so annoying. I just want to do treadmill and go home.
It was actually fun, actually. You can't complain. But I realized that it doesn't take me anywhere, actually.
People really need to take up their responsibility and be like, you know what, this is what I want in life.
Hi everyone, welcome back to GEPic Journeys. I'm Dilusha and I'm your host for today. So today we have a very interesting topic in place for you, and I have three individuals whom I feel like will be the perfect blend to speak about it. So today, this is the episode on wellness, your body and mind in harmony. Moving back to the speakers, first up we have a fitness queen. She also has a very inspiring story through her journey. So, hi Sarani Tilakaratna, welcome on board.
Hi.
How are you? Do you want to add more to like the introduction I gave to you?
I mean, Queen is pretty nice. I don't think there's anything about that, so I'll go with it.
Yeah. Next up, we have an individual who chose his passion as his profession, and he's pretty talented at what he does, which is photography. Also, he's an undercover yogi. I'm exposing you right now, not anymore.
Exposing me, yeah.
So, yeah, and he also snuck beers for his first yoga retreat. How cool is that?
What a fact.
Welcome on board, Suhada
Thank you.
Prabhash.
Thank you for
Do
having
you
me.
want to add more to like the
I
introduction?
think you pretty much said too much stuff about me already. I'm being exposed.
Next up, we have Tomalee Francis, and she's a researcher in the development sector, and she's also a nutritionist. And I must say, if you happen to go on her Instagram page, you leave being hungry.
Yeah.
Because I stalked you a bit, I must say that. And yeah, that's our three speakers for today. And let's hop on to our first segment, which is about the journey you guys have been to where you are being now, right? So, first question is for you, Sari. I'll call you Sari, by the way. How did you start this whole journey of fitness, and how did you find your passion in it? Because I've seen your reels and your posts online. It's very inspiring to look at them, actually.
Thank you. I started after local A levels. We don't really study during study leave, so I just ate. And like when I went for the paper, like a couple of months later, I couldn't fit into my uniform, which I wore in Jan. So in September, I was bursting, so I quickly wrote the paper and went home. So that was like a wake-up call, And my dad dissed me. He was like, see, this girl is like an auntie, like tires here, tires there, go for gym. So I didn't cry about it, I wasn't a little whiny little baby about it. I didn't cry about it. I was like, okay, I'm overweight and I need to, get my life together. And then I went for gym, and then this other girl, I met her and she forced me into weight training and I was like, ugh, this is so annoying. I just want to do treadmill and go home. But then one day, a couple of months later, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, like there's a change. Like my legs are bigger and, I'm looking, my booty is nice and my waist is small. I'm like, there's actually, there's a result, and then that way, I just got really obsessed with it. And I think I've just been really sporty and athletic growing up. So that I compare myself sometimes to a husky. A husky dog, you have to, they have to run and run and run and run to, get that energy out.
And
so
I feel
guess
like
working out,
when you're into that and you see progress, you feel like
you
working
just want to keep
towards
going.
it.
Yeah. And I'm really good at teaching. Some people have the knowledge, they can't teach.
That's true,
So
yeah.
I felt like I get fulfilled teaching somebody and seeing them change their life and they are much more confident and happier. It's a very fulfilling job, I realized. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
Oh, that's very interesting.
That's
actually.
nice.
Yeah. So next one is for you. It's similar, actually. In your experience, how do you think people perceive wellness, and what was your journey like? Because I know that you were a heavy gym rat as well, but now you're whole into this yoga thing. How do you find that?
I think, so when you talk about wellness, I think it differs to each one. I think all of us is what we looking for is wellness in everything we do, whether it's gymming or working or we going to church.
It has a lot of aspects
Exactly.
to it. Yeah.
So in whatever we do, we think of well-being only, right? That's why we do it, the whole point of it. So in how I got into yoga was this was in 2019. I was at
The one you snuck beers in the retreat, yeah?
Were you an alcoholic before that?
you can call it like that.
Like, did you have a problem? Or like...
Like, how would you go? Like, we used to go for trips. Like, how we would definitely take a beer or wine, like, obviously. Because I thought it's the same thing.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's a solo trip. I went on 4 days alone.
Like you're going to chill, right?
Exactly. That's how I thought it's supposed to. That's how it's
Alright.
supposed to be,
A little
actually.
bit of yoga, a little bit of beer. You know?
Yeah, why not?
It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
So, how I got into it, like, before that, it was 2019. I was in the peak of my career. Everything is working well. I was hitting gym almost every day also. And I obviously like the fire emojis that I got for my stories from everybody, from the girls. I can't
That's
lie.
fulfilling.
Guys, right?
I like it.
You expect girls, but it's mostly guys, right? Like, bro, nice kids.
That's true. So then after some time I realized it's the same pattern repeating in my life. It was fun. I mean, I was doing gymming and working, partying with my friends. It was actually fun. Actually, you can't complain. But I realized that it doesn't take me anywhere actually. So it was more over like the same pattern repeating.
Like
Yeah.
mundane, like you get over it.
Yeah.
You were kind of over it, like.
Yeah, something like that. So that's when I actually booked that retreat.
Okay.
And
So
then
like escape from reality kind of thing?
kind
for
of a
you?
thing.
Okay.
That's what I wanted. That's why I chose actually. It was in Kandy also, like
Kandy,
yeah,
wow.
With like the
yeah.
nice atmosphere,
Exactly.
the
It's,
weather.
it's kind of in the middle of a forest,
Oh, okay.
something like
okay,
that. That
okay.
was very
Like proper hippie stuff. Right?
exactly. So later on, my girlfriend, now my wife, is introduced to me another program, and that was it was done by Isha Institute and designed by Sadhguru. So somehow I managed to do it. I was not this yoga kind of a person per se, like not that kind of a person at all. But somehow I liked it. It was they have a practical approach, and it's scientific, and it was very very easy to understand what they're speaking about. So because of that, I end up going to India for the Isha Institute, and I end up staying for 1.5 months there.
That's a lot of time for.
I know, right? So I stayed there for 1.5 months to understand more about these inner engineering tools. So that's how I got into yoga.
So it's not only about like doing different asanas. There's like more towards yoga.
Yeah, there's actually more when you. It's a kind of a inner science actually. I would say it's not just stretching and breaking your bones. There's more to it. So that's how I got into yoga.
It's pretty interesting, and I feel like it's a pretty controversial topic to speak about too.
It is,
Yeah, very.
definitely.
Yeah. So moving on to Tom, I'll call you Tom again.
Yes, no worries.
Yeah. So what is your idea about being physically well, and how did you get into being a nutritionist? Because I know that there's a lot of stigma around like how you eat, like food security and all of that. What do you think about that?
So for me personally, like health or just well-being itself is just your everyday lifestyle choices. If you would want to work out, or if you want to do yoga, or even if it's what you're eating. So it all comes back to your lifestyle choices and what you decide you want for your life, because I think that's very important, and I think that's what everyone is doing. And I truly believe, because recently, like a few months ago, I started CrossFit, and everyone's like, Tom, why do you need to work out? and all these questions. And I'm like, it's not only about losing weight, gaining weight, not about building, but it's so much more than that, because you doing this to yourself is you taking care of your body. And how can you really elevate your potential to be your best self? And I truly believe everyone's responsibility, like it's our own responsibility to take care of ourselves. Let it be health, what you're eating, and even as you get older, because as you get older, you're prone to get more diseases. But even that, like, you need to be able to go in for your checkups, you know, really take care of your body and yourself, because no one's going to come and tell you, no, you should eat this, you should do that. Like, people do that, you know, we live in
My
a brown...
God.
Yeah,
Bro.
a lot. Because we live in, like, you know, our culture so much so is people have so much to say over other people's lives.
Like, you shouldn't do this, you should do
Yeah,
that.
and I'm like, yes, don't tell me what to do. But I also feel like people really need to take up their responsibility and be like, you know what, this is what I want in life. This is what I want to do, given your health, your physical well-being. And how did I become a nutritionist? Okay, that's very interesting. So I've always wanted to be in healthcare. So I looked at being a doctor, very expensive to study. So I was like, that's not happening. And I don't think I had the brains for it as much. And then moving on, I was just really looking into what I could get into. And nutrition back then, when I was getting into uni, was very, very not much of a field in Sri Lanka, at least. It was very booming in every other area, but now I feel like everyone's talking about fitness.
It's a good idea now, no?
Everyone's talking about
It's a very
nutrition.
timely topic.
Yeah, it's like a topic where everyone has a lot of things to say. But yeah, and that's when I decided, okay, fine, I'll just do nutrition, because I really loved, the only subject I loved in school was biology. So I was like, okay, let me get into something I love doing. Or
That's
like,
not a subject that everyone loves, but
yeah,
I loved it. There's no math, there's no chemistry.
yeah,
There's
it's
a lot of
simple.
studies.
It's just, you just need to understand the concept of it or
Yeah.
whatever. But anyways, so yeah, so learned that and then decided to study nutrition. So yeah, I mean, but now I'm in research as well, but I do this as part-time, because something which was on my heart, like throughout school and in uni, was like, I want to be in a services sector where I am serving people and helping people to like be better, because I think everyone's struggling today to just be themselves. And if you could really help them in any way to like uplift their life and be of a better self, I'm like there's so much of joy that comes out of
It's a
it.
fulfilling job. right?
Yeah, it's a
fulfilling
very
job.
fulfilling job, and there's so much of joy to see like someone really embracing their life, you know? But yeah, that's my story.
Very
In a
inspiring.
nutshell,
Yeah.
yes.
So that was very insightful, actually. Thank you, and it was very inspiring to get to know like how your journeys began. And yeah, with that we come to the end of the first session, and we'll see you with our next one.
If you enjoyed that video, make sure to like and subscribe to the GEP YouTube channel. And we also have a bunch of very interesting practical short courses which are related to the episodes from the podcast. So stay tuned.